Hi there, little friends. I'm Melissa. Today we're going to hear a story about a very special little bird who felt a bit out of place. It's the classic tale of the ugly duckling, filled with heart and a beautiful discovery. Are you ready for our 8-minute journey? Let's go! Once upon a time, in a cozy corner of a farmyard, a mother duck was waiting for her eggs to hatch. She sat patiently in her nest among the soft green reeds, watching the sun sparkle on the water. It was a beautiful spring day. One by one, the eggs began to crack. "Peep, peep!" cried the tiny ducklings as they poked their heads out. They were yellow and fluffy with little orange beaks. Mama Duck was so proud of her new little family. But one egg, the largest of them all, did not crack. Mama Duck sat back down to wait just a little longer. "It's such a big egg," she thought. "I wonder what's taking so long." Her yellow ducklings waited too. Finally, the last egg burst open. Out tumbled a duckling that looked very different. He was big, his feathers were gray, and his feet were quite large. "My, what a big duckling," Mama Duck said. He wasn't yellow or fluffy, but he was hers. The next day, it was time for a swim. Mama Duck led them all to the pond. Splash! One by one, they jumped in. The gray duckling was a natural. He swam beautifully and kept his head held high. "He may be different," Mama Duck smiled, "but he is very clever." When they walked through the farmyard, the other animals weren't as kind as Mama Duck. "He's so big," clucked the hens. "He doesn't look like a duckling at all," they teased. The poor gray duckling felt very sad and out of place. Day after day, the teasing continued. The other ducklings didn't want to play with him because he was different. The gray duckling sat by the water and wished he had a friend who understood him. His heart felt heavy. One morning, the duckling decided to set off on his own adventure. "Maybe I'll find a place where I belong," he whispered. He said a quiet goodbye to the pond and walked into the big, wide forest. He was being very brave. Autumn came, and the leaves turned to gold and red. The duckling lived in the marsh, eating seeds and watching the birds fly high above. It was a quiet life, but he was free to explore the wonders of the world. One day, a group of wild geese landed nearby. "Hello!" they honked kindly. "You're a very interesting-looking bird." They were the first animals to be nice to him. The duckling felt a little sparkle of hope in his chest. An owl perched in a tree told him, "Don't worry about being different, little one. The world is big and there is a place for everyone. Just keep going." The duckling took these wise words to heart. Soon, winter arrived. The first snowflakes fell gently from the sky, covering the forest in a white blanket. The pond began to freeze, and the air was very cold. The duckling found a cozy hollow in a tree to stay warm. Winter was long and very quiet. The duckling stayed safe and warm, dreaming of the warm sun and the green pond. He learned that even when things are difficult, we must stay brave and keep hope in our hearts. Finally, the sun began to feel warm again. The snow melted, and tiny flowers began to peek through the ground. Spring had returned to the forest. The duckling stretched his wings and felt stronger than ever. He walked to a large, clear lake. The water was so inviting. He flapped his wings. They felt much larger now, and glided onto the water. He felt a wonderful sense of peace as he swam through the ripples. Suddenly, 3 magnificent white birds glided toward him. They were swans, the most beautiful creatures he had ever seen. The duckling felt shy and lowered his head, not wanting them to see his gray feathers. As he looked down at the water, he saw his own reflection. He blinked in surprise. He wasn't a gray duckling anymore. He was a beautiful white swan. He had grown into exactly who he was meant to be. The other swans swam around him and welcomed him with gentle calls. "You're one of us," they seemed to say. For the first time in his life, the swan felt a deep sense of belonging. He wasn't ugly at all. He was wonderful. The swans took flight, and the new swan followed them. He soared high above the trees, feeling the wind beneath his strong wings. He was flying with his new family, heading toward new adventures under the stars. They flew over the old farmyard. The animals looked up and gasped at the beautiful birds in the sky. They didn't know that one of those majestic swans was the same little bird they had once teased. the swan felt only kindness in his heart. He realized that it didn't matter where you were born, as long as you grew up to be kind and brave. His heart was finally full of joy, and he promised to always be a friend to any bird who felt out of place. The stars came out, and the forest grew quiet. The swan tucked his head under his wing, feeling safe and loved in his new home. He knew that tomorrow would be another beautiful day. Good night, little dreamers. Wasn't that a beautiful transformation? Our little friend taught us that we are all special in our own way. I hope you have the most wonderful dreams tonight. Sleep well, and I'll see you again soon for another story. Goodbye, friends.